You mentioned about understanding, yes, the sexual harassment issues and so on. It was the trade union movement that fought for Convention 190 that deals with sexual harassment and violence.
This was an exciting workshop for me. I learned a lot. I think in some ways I had a kind of a misconception that it would have been a difficult topic to deal with in the unions, but it wasn't. In fact, people taught me quite a few things, particularly in relation to a Barbadian context. And having also representatives from Equals Inc. at the workshop added value in terms of understanding the ins and outs and the intricacies in terms of the issue in a Barbados setting. But certainly within the membership of the two unions, we recognize that there is a lot of potential for us making inroads in ensuring that issues regarding discrimination against persons because of their gender identity is going to be dealt with, and dealt with in a way in which we have more equal societies, not only across the Caribbean, but certainly in the case of Barbados.
My name is Wanda Trim, and I'm the Executive Director of Equals Inc., one of the primary LGBTQ organizations in Barbados for the equality and equity of queer rights through the provision of goods and services. So Equals began officially in 2013, and at that point in time, we were providing sexual health education to the queer community. Over time, understanding that the community needed additional support, to be kind of branched out to provide additional services such as educational development, professional development, recreational activities, advocacy, and activism. And we also have a safe space where persons can come and exist in a stigma-free and discrimination-free zone.
Our involvement in issues related to equality, equity, and diversity obviously mean that we have to be very, very concerned about the treatment to workers and generally people in society who are within the gay community, the LGBTQ plus community. And one thing that we've been able to do over the years, together with Education International and another global union federation, is particularly focus on the rights of workers who are within the gay community. But when we talk about public services, we have another consideration. Not only are we dealing with those workers who are within the gay community, but we also recognize that the people that are served in terms of quality public services are also members of that community. So it means that we need to ensure that we provide quality services free from discrimination.
If we focus on the world of work, some persons still experience significant challenges in the workplace based upon discrimination, or they're just experiencing challenges getting jobs in the first place due to their sexual orientation or their gender identity. And that's something that we're looking to address through conversations with organizations such as C2SAB, UPW, and other trade unions.
C2SAB acknowledges that, within our working community, that we must be able to serve as representative for workers. We must be able to serve all sectors of our communities. And this would also include those members of the gay community within the workplace. I believe that now is the time that we start to understand, that these are things that are inevitable and that we must be able to be more open, especially as workers' representatives, to be able to represent these individuals where there are cases of discrimination within the workplace.
Over the past 2 days, we would have collaborated with C2SAP, being part of a workshop with the Rainbow Project, being orchestrated by the PSI and also by the FMV network. And this Rainbow Project is about raising the awareness about the LGBTQI plus workers and how they are represented The purpose of the workshop is to show the persons within that community that the unions are a safe space for them, and that we will represent and advocate against any form of discrimination that is being done to them based on their sexual preference or their gender identity. We recognize that the core parts of the trade union movement is to defend and represent human rights. Human rights are workers' rights, and that is the pillar of the trade union movement, and we have to do our best to represent persons. We do not want anyone in any particular grouping to feel that they are not represented or have a space within the unions. The union membership is made up of a diverse group of persons, and so each and every member must understand and must know and must feel the need and see the work being done by the unions on their behalf. See the trade union movement, see the NUPW, see C2SAP, other unions as a safe space when they are in need of any form of representation or defense.
Our work in terms of LGBTQ plus has been also together with our affiliates in other countries. And we've been able, especially over the last few months, to have a project approved by a major federation in the Netherlands to help us build the capacity of unions to effectively and more seriously and more committed in terms of representing the rights of workers who are in the gay community. But we believe that in order to be able to do that, we have to first look at ourselves. Do we have the mechanisms in place? Is the capacity available within the unions? And that's what this project is all about. It's in terms of developing those capacities, those skills, and the kind of knowledge that's needed to ensure that together with allies, we're able to ensure that workers who are in the gay community are treated fairly and as equals, and also that those in the public who are part of the gay community are also treated with respect and dignity.
Some of the issues that persons experience is just persons creating hostile environments based upon their sexuality and gender identity. So persons may not exactly tolerate these individuals and they go out their way to harass them. Secondly, the difficulties in acquiring a job based upon particularly your gender identity. If persons see that you dress a specific way, you talk a specific way, or you walk a specific way, there's a high probability that you may not get a job because they may assume your gender identity or your sexual orientation. And lastly, persons are easily terminated when their sexual orientation or gender identity is revealed within the workplace, just based upon the general lack of protections for persons based upon their identity, or just the lack of information regarding why they were fired, although it may be because of a specific reason associated with their queerness.
As we develop the project, we have two main objectives. One, that our unions strengthen their capacity and ability to handle cases of discrimination which are based on LGBTQI issues. Secondly, we want to be able to make changes in union structures, even if they're self-organized structures, where within the union themselves, those members who are in the gay community feel safe. And we create an inclusive place for them in the union movement to meet, to discuss, to add their voices, their views, their opinions on the issues about which the union will be engaging in collective bargaining.
One of the things that I enjoy most coming out of this today seminar is the rights, equal rights for every single public servant or every single person, regardless of their gender identity, regardless of their sexual preference. You learn to see persons for who they are rather than who we may perceive them to be. I want to thank the PSA for giving C2SAB and NUPW the opportunity to be part of, to host today's seminar on awareness and capacity building. and I want to thank them because as a public servant, I want to say that this two-day seminar was very informative. It allows us to look at people for who they are rather than who we may perceive them to be.